Hello YouTube, welcome to the Peace Security channel. Today I've got a very interesting review. It's of a product called XVirus. You've probably never heard of it before. It's a fairly new product, and this is based on a review request sent by MySecurityWin, who are the developers of this product. And they say that they've released a new version of this so-called XVirus, and they claim to have made the engine themselves. And it contains signatures and a behavior blocker. It's supposed to work as anti-malware like Malwarebytes. Okay, so it's supposed to work along with another antivirus product, but it can also work standalone. So that was the request. So I just got XVirus. I've installed it. It's a fairly small install, but once you get it running, it does use up a bit of RAM. For the moment, I've disabled the real-time shields. As you can see, the user interface is very basic. I'd like it to be a little bit more sophisticated, maybe with some more advanced settings. For the moment, they don't have much settings. You can just do your quick scan, hyper scan, and a custom scan. And they've got their protection shields, that is the behavior guard, the files guard, that is the real-time protection, and the USB guard. Of course, this is a free product. And they've got some shortcuts here, so you can easily open up Task Manager if you want to end a process, or a virtual keyboard and some small things like that. But this thing is completely up to date. And they don't really have too many advanced settings. They have something called self-defense, delete malware when found, that's all. And just automatic updates, delete USB auto runs, and sound option. So I'd like more customizability in this product, like more removal features, like an option to quarantine when found, or maybe, an alert that asks the user what to do. Because at the moment it's very, very basic. It is version 4.2.1, and they've got their website over here. So let's give this thing a real test and see if it really works as well as promised. First, we'll check out the memory usage. It's probably holding the signatures in memory, which is probably the reason why it's using quite a lot of memory. Now, it is a bit buggy. I have seen a few GUI glitches, and sometimes it just opens up multiple modules of itself when you open it again and again, instead of just maximizing this user interface. So it does have a few bugs, but apart from that, it seems fairly stable and usable. So the memory usage varies from like 80 megabytes to around 120, depending on what you're doing, which is pretty heavy, I guess, for a product that's supposed to work alongside another antivirus product. But it's not heavy at all. I haven't felt any impact on the system, so performance-wise, it's not bad either. So let's give it our basic test. I've got some malware here. In fact, I've got several folders over here. This is my main folder, the usual 500 items that I test most products with. Now this is again just 1 day old. So we will just scan this folder. They don't have an extension scan, so you'll always have to open the user interface if you want to do a scan. But I guess we can do that. So I'll do a custom scan of this folder, and we will check out the detection rate. That's a lightning fast scan, as you can see, and it claims to have found all 500 items. That's very impressive. So let's just see what threats we've got here. Wow, it does seem to have detected quite a lot of these. So we'll just delete all. And for some reason it just doesn't do it all by itself. You have to keep tapping this button. I don't know why. I guess this will take a while, so I'll be back when it's removed everything. So XVirus has completed removing all the threats. Now we'll just re-enable the real-time protection. Now I have noticed that their files guard isn't very active, so sometimes it may not catch some of the files that are in its signatures. It's kind of like Malwarebytes, as they said. Now, this is absolutely stunning. It caught and removed all the files. Now, just for comparison's sake, I've got Malwarebytes, probably their biggest and most well-known competitor that is also a similar product. So we'll just scan the same samples with Malwarebytes. Again, I'll disable their files guard because they didn't miss anything, so I won't get a chance to check out their behavior blocker. So we'll test the same folder, just a copy of it, with Malwarebytes, and we'll see what kind of detection rate it manages. So again, I'll just update Malwarebytes, and then we'll do a scan, and I'll be back with the results. So now it's Malwarebytes' turn to remove all this malware. So we'll hit quarantine all, and that should have a similar effect. And let's see how many we're left with. Malwarebytes is taking a lot longer to scan and remove, so I'll just pause the video and be back when everything's done. Malwarebytes has completed removing whatever it could. Now let's see what it failed to remove. And wow, surprisingly, it has missed a huge number of items, 201. So there is absolutely no comparison. XVirus manages a detection rate of 100%, while this much better known product fails to remove 201 items. And that is a very big surprise. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure that they're not bluffing on their behavior guard, I will keep the files guard disabled, and we will try to run some of these files and see if XVirus behavior guard can protect us. So let's see if that feature of their program is also working. And from the very first file, we get to see suspicious behavior has been detected, so we'll just block that. Let's try the second one. Let's try the third. No response so far. Let's try the fourth. Surprisingly, we're okay. Just when I was about to say we're not getting any more detection, here comes another one. So we'll block that. Whoa. Now that was not pleasant. So this thing just signed me out. I don't know for what reason. Let's try to get back in. Let's continue. See if we've got XVirus running. Let's boot it up again. I think it might have closed. Of course, we're not using the file guard, otherwise all of these samples would be blocked. Just want to see how responsive the behavior blocker is. Of course, behavior blockers can't block everything, but let's see how many it can successfully catch. Let's also turn on the files guard and see how the real-time protection works. Okay. Surprisingly, as I said, the real-time protection is not as active as you'd like it to be. Now, if it was any other antivirus product with all this in their signatures, it would probably just start catching these things off. But when you try to modify this folder, like let's say I want to create another copy of it, you will find that it won't be quite as easy. So we'll just try to create another copy. And you can see instantly, here's a GUI glitch, but all of these files are now being removed. And as you can see, there you go. So the real-time protection does work. There you go. It's just automatically removing all of these. The alert is blacked out, but now it appears malware has been removed. And you can see that it just removed everything. And the behavior blocker is not quite as good as you'd probably hope, but it's still pretty good considering that this is a product that's not well known at all. There you go, another detection. So the behavior blocker is also functional. And another interesting thing I'd like to see is when I saw this really high detection rate, it made me wonder if they have sampled my source, that is VirSign. So have they just added all the files in VirSign to their database? Now that wouldn't be very useful for most purposes. So as you can see, some malware is still running. It's not okay, great. So you can see what malware does to your system. Of course, it's not XVirus's fault entirely because I turned off their files guard, but anyway. So I got some samples from another website. Now these are all pretty old and they're pretty well known as well, so most antivirus products would catch these. Now the reason why I want to test with those is just to make sure that they've not sampled the source. So in that case, they wouldn't be able to detect malware from any other source, but let's try this out and see if they catch these as well. We've got 21 items and wow, it catches everything as you'd expect. So this is a really good product for starters. Of course, it's not meant to be a standalone product. When you run it alongside an antivirus, it becomes even more effective. And what a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting a performance anywhere near as good as I've seen. The behavior blocker is functional, may protect you in some key places where maybe the signatures don't work out. And of course, the behavior blocker isn't perfect. It isn't quite as detailed as you'd like it to be. As you saw, a lot of malware still managed to run. But for what it is, it's doing a really good job. As you saw, as compared to Malwarebytes, which is entirely signature-based, let me remind you, this is doing a much better job, and it is free. So I encourage you guys, just go and try this out. Especially if you're a tester like me and you're watching this video, I'd highly recommend giving this a test. I'd like to see how this does in other tests, just to be sure, you know, because this is a really new product and it is doing surprisingly well. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. It's really good, and I'll just give you one more information on these samples in which XVirus managed 100% detection. MCSoft managed to catch 497 files, so it just missed 3. And so XVirus even did better than MCSoft. Now that is a huge I mean, I wasn't expecting anything near this in terms of performance. I was expecting maybe it would do like catch maybe 50, 100, something like that, but this thing has shocked me like anything. So it was a really pleasant surprise, and I really enjoyed testing this product. Hope you enjoyed watching this. It's good to see new products like this showing up, and I encourage you guys to try it out. And a big thanks to developers because they're the ones who introduced this product to me. I didn't know about this, so I guess it's pretty decent, and you should try it out, and I'll see you guys in the next P Security Channel video.